Women are getting prettier and they're happier after divorce. Why do a good number of women get prettier and are happier after divorce? One obvious reason is the domestic labor in marriage and the fact that they have to cater for a grown-up like a baby. I mean, the husband.
After every breakup, they will always come back at least once. Post-breakup glow-up is dangerous because you will be looking so fine, you'll be doing so good, that they will come crawling back. They will see you looking hot, doing well and glowing, and they will panic and they will think, oh my God, they're doing so well without me. I have to get them back. Look how hot they look. Rah, 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 rah. This is why they're blocked.
Hello fam, how you all doing? Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. Today's video, we are discussing why women get prettier and are happier after divorce. I've noticed to a great extent that some women glow up after divorce. They look happier, more vibrant, and more beautiful. From my observation, it usually does seem as though a weight was lifted off their shoulders and they just regained their freedom. Why the sudden glow up after divorce?
My boy, if she has this crazy glow up after y'all break up, you were the problem. You.
The number one reason is she's been relieved of the toxicity and stress that came with the relationship. So she's free from that. One thing that is the common cause of divorce in marriage is toxicity in marriage. Toxicity can manifest in different shape and form in different ways, and with toxicity comes stress. In a toxic relationship, a woman is exposed to stress, tension, emotional drain, emotional labor, a whole lot, and this can prevent her from focusing on herself and taking care of herself. The human body needs to be taken care of. It needs its own attention. You need to pamper it for it to glow, for your skin to be the best version of itself. But if you neglect your skin, if you neglect taking care of your body, your skin is most likely to wrinkle fast. If you're being put under much stress, your skin is most likely to wrinkle fast. You will experience breakout and your skin is not going to glow. And this is something that women that find themselves in toxic relationships experience. A woman is most likely to ignore her well-being and focus on taking care of other people in the relationship if she is married to the wrong man, if she has a whole lot to cater to and the man is not being of any assistance to her. There are different types of men in relationship. Let's hear what this lady has to say.
Is the equivalent of what men feel when after we're divorced, the ex-wives drop a lot of weight and look super sexy. We're sitting here thinking, where was that effort when we were married? Why are you doing it only after we're divorced? Now, I don't have that answer, but to the ladies watching, why is that?
I have the answer, and all of the women watching will be nodding along with me. There are three types of men as husbands and or fathers. There are men that default most, if not all, of the mental and physical responsibility for parenting and domestic household to women. And it's not specific to women that are stay-at-home moms, but of course, that's the most common excuse that men give for doing that. Secondly, there are men that help their wives with the mental and physical responsibility of parenting and domestic household, specific to her returning that favor with something that is for his own personal needs. They will do the dishes, they will put their kids to bed at night after giving them a bath, but their feeling of responsibility and their willingness to do so is connected to whether or not they're getting what they want from her, usually physically. If they're not, they will be much less willing and much more likely to complain about having responsibility for those things. And thirdly, there are men that carry their share of responsibility, both physically and mentally, for parenting and domestic household because they want to, and it's rewarding for them. Whatever they are experiencing in their interpersonal, romantic, physical relationship with their wife is separate from the way they feel about responsibility for parenting and domestic household. Women that glow up after divorce are married to one of the first two types of men, and women that glow up in the marriage are married to the third type of man. I'm married to the third type.
That man is wondering why women can't glow up while they are still married to the man. Some men expect their women to look sexy all the time, dress up for them all the time, wear the best outfit all the time so they can show them off. But a lot of women can't do that. A lot of women, once they get married, they become a shadow of themselves. A woman that was bubbly, dressing up, taking care of herself, glowing, once she gets married, she becomes a shadow of herself, and men complain, oh, you're not dressing sexy, oh, you're not wearing nice outfits, you're always wearing long outfit that covers everything, you look dull, you don't make your hair. Men talk about that a lot. But how then do you expect a woman that you've given domestic labor to have time to look after herself? Why don't you deal with the problem, which is obvious? She has too much workload. Why don't you assist with the workload so she can have time to take care of herself? So I don't know if men don't reason. I don't know if they choose not to face facts, if they choose not to accept reality. You've given this woman too much workload and you're expecting her to have time for herself and dress up sexy for you to feel attracted to her. So it's all about what you want. It's all about what you want. Or you want to satisfy your sexual needs. You want her to satisfy your sexual needs. You want her to look attractive so you can feel attracted to her sexually. You're ignoring the workload. You're not putting into consideration that there's too much load for her, too much workload, so you need to assist. No, I told you guys that men are very selfish and all they think about is them. That's why you would see a married man having a side chick, because he's after his own satisfaction. That's all that he cares about. So you've given this woman too much work labor and you see expect her to appear sexy, so you find her attractive for your sexual gratification. How selfish can a human be? How selfish can men be? Another reason why women glow after divorce is because they get to rebuild themselves. The happiness that comes within is the ultimate happiness to her. When your happiness comes from inside, when you have that internalized happiness, it radiates outwardly. You become someone else. You begin to glow. Everything about you begins to glow. And that is the happiness a lot of women get after divorce. And what sparks up such happiness is when you realize who you are, when you realize your value and your worth. Let's say the man you were with never valued you. He demeaned you. He spoke down on you. He used words that belittled you. He made you feel less of a human, less of yourself. He brought down your self-esteem. So if you leave such a man, you leave such an environment, and you find happiness within, you recognize who you are, you build your self-esteem, over time, you're going to have that happiness radiate outwardly, and then you start glowing without even you working on your skin. You start glowing. People can feel how happy, how joyous you are. You become a happiness magnet. When people see you, all they see is happy human being, a free-spirited human being, because you will be exuding positivity and you're going to have this natural glow because you're happy within.
Then do you want to know why a woman glows up and blows up after they have left the relationship and become a version of themselves that is unreachable by you? Let me put it this way. Anytime that you are in somebody's presence and that person is just giving love and attention and affection, and you are declining that because the person is giving, you're still receiving that positive energy that person is giving you. At some point, that dies. Now, you may not be reciprocating the energy, but the energy is still being given to you. So you're happy, thriving, thinking that that woman is never going to leave. When she finally does, and she chooses herself and decides that there's no more energy to give because it's beating a dead horse, she will cry, be depressed, be broken down, but that queen is going to rebuild herself from the same shit that you left her with, which was herself, the same energy that you were feeding off of. So now she no longer has to give you that energy, so she can actually keep all of that to herself. See, now the focus is all herself. She no longer has to share any of that energy. So she's going to glow up and blow up and be a version of herself that you cannot touch because you missed the whole point. The woman was your other half or vessel that gave you light and energy. So when you miss out on that light and energy, you're going to be happy because you're picking here and picking there and getting energy from other places. But those energies are temporary. The energy she was giving you with her pure intentions and with pure love, that's an energy that you cannot reciprocate. And you cannot find that just anywhere. And that's why she becomes untouchable. Because she was the light that was leading you, and you missed out on that.
Why do girls go through a major glow up after a breakup? It's not that you go through a glow up magically, like, oh, you break up with someone, you go through a glow. That's not the way it works. Here's the thing. When you're with someone, when you have feelings for somebody, you put them on a pedestal. The reason why you put them on that pedestal is because you're exerting so much of your beautiful, positive, good energy onto that person because of the potential that you see in that relationship. So you like this person, you're giving them that good energy. Now, when all that's over, and if you decide, because it's a conscious choice, you decide that, you know what, I'm going to put my energy into myself. Right? You start going to the gym. You start eating good. You start doing good. You start feeling good because you're giving yourself those good vibes. That's what the glow up is. You pull back on the energy that you were giving to someone who wasn't appreciating it, and you pour it onto yourself. So that's the reason why they were so great. They were so great because you were giving them that positive energy. So now in turn, you become great for yourself because you start putting that energy into yourself. You want to go through a glow up, give your energy to yourself. Your energy is beautiful. Your energy is irreplaceable. Your energy you need for yourself. But what we do is that we give it to other people for the potential of what could be. Love yourself, glow up for yourself. And if you do get into another relationship, don't lose sight of who you are. You got this.
I just want to quickly talk about putting someone on pedestal. This is something I've spoken about before, and I did mention that we should not let any man put us on pedestal. I think I've said this more than once on this channel. So there is a difference between men and women when it comes to putting someone on pedestal. The way a man puts a woman on pedestal is totally different from the way a woman puts a man on pedestal. For men, they idolize you. They just want you to be there like a Barbie, like a trophy. They want you to think in a certain way, act in a certain way, be a certain person, don't do some certain things. They want you to always look pretty, appear in a certain way, which is very detrimental to any human being. Because when someone sees you like that, the person will struggle to acknowledge the fact that you're a human, and the person will struggle to accept some of your traits as a human. You wanting to be a human. If they don't like it, they wouldn't want you to be. It becomes a problem. A man putting you on a pedestal, the man is in a way also controlling you because they just want you to act and behave in a certain way. But if a woman puts a man on a pedestal, it's different. For that woman, oh, this is my king, I'm here to serve you. Most women are ready to go any length just to make that man happy. They see that man to be someone they want to please all the time. They're ready to serve the man, do things for the man, lose themselves in the process. You see, there's a clear difference. I just felt like I should talk about this because I've mentioned before in the past that we should not let any man put us on pedestal because it can be detrimental to us women. Another reason why women glow up after divorce is that they enjoy life with less pressure. Pressure comes with stress. When people expect a lot from you, you might find yourself feeling pressured. Being a mother or a wife is a lot of work. You're expected to be a lot of things in that relationship. You're expected to cater for a grown-up man, for the house, your children, if you have kids. There's a whole lot that is expected of you. Once there's a lot of expectation, pressure comes in. As a woman, you wouldn't want to fail your family. You wouldn't want to fail your children. So you do everything possible to make sure you meet up to their needs, if you get what I mean. And that's a lot of pressure, a whole lot of pressure. So when a woman lives such an environment and focuses on herself alone, or if she has kids, focuses on herself and her kids, the pressure is being reduced. If you're in a toxic relationship where the man does not believe in assisting with domestic chores, then the pressure is times 2, because you're not only looking after your children, you're also looking after a grown-up man as an additional baby. That's too much pressure. And then in the society, as a married woman, people are also looking up to you. People are expecting you to act in a certain way and do things in a certain way. That is also a lot of pressure, if you get what I mean. So if married women become single, the pressure is being reduced and they will feel better, and that's going to be less stress on them.
At time in my life when I was going through this divorce, for me in my situation, I really didn't want to be divorced. But the pain, and I've said this before, the pain had become greater than the love. And I felt like I was completely lost in that relationship. And it was very painful and very hard. What I did learn was that there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I learned so much about myself, but I had to take the initiative to say, what did I learn? And be open to letting go of him and the circumstances. What I also realized is that although I'm over him and what happened, I had to do healing of what the emotional experience left me with. But when I did that work, it made me such a stronger, more sound person, gave me a whole different perspective. It taught me a great deal of compassion. And because it has refined me in that way, I've been able to be a better person in new relationships. And by the way, at this age, at this stage, if I met my ex-husband today, and I mean this with no judgment, I wouldn't even be interested in the guy.
Right.
You know, and again, I don't mean that disrespectfully. It's just I'm a different woman. I attract different energy.
You know, there's a such thing as a divorce glow up. A lot of times when I'm at a divorce hearing and we go through the questions and the judge grants the divorce and my clients get the official documents stating that they are divorced, they are so happy. They're relieved. I see this glow up, this happiness, which is contrary to when we first met. When they were contemplating divorce, a lot of times under a lot of stress, maybe they've gained weight due to the stress of the situation and the process, which I try to make that easier because divorce, it can be a stressful situation. But once they reach the end of the road, I see that divorce glow up, that happiness, that freedom to move on, to start a new life. It is such a beautiful thing. So divorce doesn't always have to be a negative thing. Sometimes it's beautiful. Sometimes there is beauty in moving on. And I just love to see the glow up of my clients. I just love it.
Studies have shown that marriage benefits men more than it does benefit women. A lot of women lose themselves in marriages. They lose their time, they lose their body. Because once a woman gives birth, her body never goes back to how it used to be. Single women are happier than married women. Married men are happier than single men.
Did you know men really benefit from getting married? Research has suggested that men in particular benefit from married life. A major survey of over 120,000 American adults found that married men are healthier than men who never tied the knot or whose marriages ended in divorce or widowhood. They also live longer.
I believe that. I'm not shocked at all because you neglect your health. And you typically in a marriage, the woman would take on that role.
You think it's just like a mother role?
What do you think are some good things about marriage? So I got lucky with who I got. So you meet people in your life that make you better, you know, like I learned that how to love, how to, you know, depend on other people. And I met this person that I could depend on for anything. Like right now, if you were to separate us, I'm not okay. And it's not like, forget my emotions and all that stuff. It's just, I might not make it through a week. I feel you. I really might not. You know, it's just like, I have someone here who's like, bro, it's my compass. Like I know where to go because of her. That's the best thing about marriage for me. I found the one. Got you.
Name one benefit that a man gets from marriage that he wouldn't get in a regular relationship. Just one.
Oh dear, where do we begin with this one? The reason, once again, why this type of question works in his narrative, because he doesn't believe in marriage, and he doesn't believe in the benefits that being in a marriage actually gives you in comparison to a relationship. Married men over the last few years have had much better health conditions when in a marriage versus just being in a relationship, such as living longer, having a lower death rate, cardiovascular benefits such as smoking less cholesterol, less body fat. Single men are more likely to engage in riskier behaviors and have a worse diet. On average, married men earn more money. They earn between 10 to 40% more than if they were single. Depending on the type of marriage that you have, both partners usually have goals that you would like to meet, whether that's individually or in the relationship as well, and you both work together to achieve them. Providing that you and your partner are on the same page, you can have the freedom to be intimate with each other whenever you like. None of these mind games or playing tricks in trying to be intimate with a woman. If you have a partner and you know you can be intimate with her, it's whenever you want. Men are less likely to have depression and anxiety when in a marriage as opposed to being single. Even though single women are happier than married women, married men are actually happier than single men. There are a lot of men out there who have potentially come from broken down families, and being married to a woman gives them the opportunity to have their dream family moving forward. Of course, that doesn't mean for everyone, but actually for some people, that's the type of security that that man might need to feel like they're in a stable home environment. A lot of people also believe that when you marry your partner, you're also marrying your best friend. Marriage gives you the opportunity to spend the rest of your life with that partner. It secures that bond. And once again, I'm not generalizing. I understand that for some people, you don't need to be married to have that. But for a lot of men out there, that's actually a benefit. And of course, Myron doesn't need any help with this because he has so much money, being a high value man. But for the everyday man who isn't on that scale, let's say, you can actually transfer money and assets between spouses tax-free. So I just want to reiterate, I'm not saying that every single one of these points benefits every man out there. What I am saying, however, is there are some of these things that do benefit men, and therefore we can't rule them out.
Another reason why women glow up after divorce is because they enjoy deeper independence. They don't have to ask for a partner's opinion to do whatever they want to do. They get a chance to hang out with friends they never made time out for because of family. They get time to travel, get time to meet with relatives, people they've missed. All this connection brings happiness, especially when you're with people that actually care about you. And the fact that you know deep within you that you can wake up and make a decision by yourself without anyone holding you back. You can wake up and go to anywhere you want to go to without anyone holding you back. That is freedom. That is happiness to a lot of women. Being in a marriage to some women can be seen as bondage and prison. Some women lose their voice in marriage. They can't think for themselves. They can't plan for themselves. Not because they don't want to, but because their husbands are controlling. They can't hang out with friends. They can't do what normal people do. They are being tied down by that man. The man dictates their life. The man controls and dictates what they do. They can't live a normal life. Getting divorced gives them independence, gives them the ability to make decisions themselves and choose whatever they want to do, wherever and whoever they want to do that with. So men also stop their women from hanging out with their old friends they had before they got married. So men tell women what to do, who to be with, where to go, and where not to go.
Whole after divorce glow up. Stitch this video because I have questions.
So I absolutely wanted to take a minute to respond to this video. I guess you could definitely say I had an after the divorce glow up. Within 2 weeks of my divorce being final, I got a nose ring, I cut and colored my hair differently, and over the last several months leading up to it, I started buying a lot of different style clothing. I also started to make sure when I was going out in public, whether it was to work or out with friends, that I was dressing a little bit differently, a little bit different style than I had traditionally in the past. So why? Number one, why the fuck not? It's time. Let's just shake things up a little bit. But in all seriousness, when you go through something like this, you start to realize that for a while, at least in my situation, that, I prioritized my family first. I prioritized my kids and their lives and their needs. I prioritized my ex and his needs. And not that I didn't think how I looked was important. It just wasn't the priority. Also, too, when I left my house or whatever, I wasn't really as worried about what other people might think about how I look because I didn't need to worry about it. I wasn't trying to attract anybody. So that was number one, just taking some time to prioritize myself because what I was going through was actually very difficult too. So after a couple of months of trying to get myself together, I wanted to focus on making myself look and feel better. Number two, in my case, and again, this may not apply to everyone, my self-confidence took a huge blow. My image of myself and how I felt about it took a huge blow. And if how I looked before, which I'm not going to say is dramatically different than how I look now, but if that wasn't good enough for the person that at that point was the most important person in my life, then you feel like, okay, maybe you have to do something different. So that's another reason for the glow up. It's that huge blow to your self-confidence, and you need to try to find your footing again and reestablish that. Also, too, I think the concept of reinvention.
at least in my case, again, going through a divorce, you start to pause and think about the future, and you think about, the world is your oyster. How do I want to be perceived in the world moving forward? How do I want people to perceive me? How does that manifest itself? And what does that look like? So that whole idea of reinvention, and again, wearing slightly different clothes, starting to look a little bit different, not better or worse per se, but just notch it up a little bit and feel good about yourself. So there is, while your self-confidence takes a huge hit, like I mentioned in number 2, at the same time, you see this huge opportunity to be a fresh canvas for yourself and just hit a reset button. So I did that. I would say the 4th reason I think is a pretty natural and frankly, it's a vain one, is that you want to be attractive and you want to feel attractive, especially if you're thinking at some point you're going to dip your toe into the dating water. So a refresh, a glow up is a nice way, again, to boost your confidence, reinvent yourself, and, hope it makes a good impression. And lastly, it's fun. It's fun to just be different. Your life has changed. Your future is going to be very different than what you pictured before. So why not shake things up? Why not play around? It's just hair, it's just makeup, it's just piercings, right? Tattoos or whatever. I didn't do a tattoo, but people do that. And give it a shot. You don't like it, you can always change it, and you can always change back. But sometimes there's no going back, and that's okay. So my rationale for my glow up.
Let's talk about women wanting to look more attractive after divorce. I've heard some people argue in the past that the reason why married women don't look attractive anymore to their husband is because to them they already got the man, so there is really no point wanting to look attractive. That could be the case for a few number of women, but not a lot of women out there. Who wouldn't want to constantly look attractive for themselves? When you look good, you become happy. Your appearance does have an effect on you emotionally and psychologically. I would want to believe that everyone out there would want to look good if they have the opportunity. Why would a woman want to look attractive just for men alone? There's some women out there that think so, or the only reason they have to look attractive is for men alone. They also have women that understand who they are and value themselves, so they want to look attractive for themselves. So this is what I'm trying to say. The reason why a lot of women in marriages don't look attractive is because they have too much workload and they don't have that time to take care of themselves. Contrary to what a lot of men think, because she's already here, I'm already married to her, there's really no point for her to make effort. No, why don't you figure out why she's not looking attractive rather than body shaming her, calling her names and talking down on her?
My wife's body isn't what it used to be, and I want to talk to somebody about it.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm jealous of the dads or husbands that have the fit wives.
The challenge here is the way you're framing this.
So, you're not attracted to your wife anymore. Physically, she's not the woman you married, huh? I used to be fat myself. I'd become a different person physically than the person my wife married. And I remember every day she would come home and she'd say, "Hey babe, would you like to go on a run with me?" And my answer for years was, "No, thank you." But you want to know what she did constantly over and over again? She invited me to join her. And not once was she negative towards me. Finally, one day it clicked. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it just clicked. And finally, one day I answered and I said, "I want to join you." 50 pounds later, I'm the person she wants me to be. If you're not attracted to your wife anymore and she's not who she used to be physically, being negative towards her, demeaning her, saying mean things to her is not the way to accomplish what you want. In 1 Thessalonians 5, it says, encourage each other, build each other up. If you think coming home from work and talking about how bad she looks is going to encourage her to be a better person, you're wrong. If you want change physically, be a leader. Start eating healthy yourself. Start exercising your health. Start being an encouragement to your wife, and I promise she will follow.
A lot of women out there understand that men love what they see. So some women make extra effort to constantly look attractive regardless of what they're passing through, so their man would not look outside. What does that tell you? It means that to men, women always have to serve them. So a woman have to look attractive for a man not to look outside. It means that the man is selfish and he thinks about his sexual satisfaction alone. He doesn't care about what the person he has in his life is passing through. This is a big lesson for all women to learn. Center yourself. Think about yourself first. Yourself comes first, because men think about themselves first. Why would a married man want to cheat because the wife is no longer looking attractive? What does that tell you? It's all about his sexual satisfaction. Please put yourself first, women.
When I first got divorced, it was the hardest part of my life. I didn't have anything. I didn't have no car. I had to start over. I literally had to sell my car. Me and my kids got on a flight with 4 suitcases and my dog, and I had to start over. I ended up having to move back with my parents. Me and my kids was sleeping in a queen size bed, all 4 of us. I was ashamed. I had to get on food stamps, and I literally had to start over. I was embarrassed. I was like, Lord, what am I going to do? I'm out here in this world. I got 3 kids. What do? I don't know. I don't even know where to begin. And I look at my life now, even though I'm not where I want to be yet, I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful for where he has brought me from, y'all. Do you understand me? I almost lost my mind. I'm telling y'all, I know what you're going through. I almost lost my mind. It was times that I contemplated suicide and everything. And God has done so much in my life. And I just want to encourage y'all, like, you're going to make it through it. He brought me through it. Love y'all.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please click this video to watch why toxic men embarrass their women in public and bring them down. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.